Good evening, and welcome to another hopeful version of Diatribes from the Voice of Doom. Now, here's your positive and prevaricating host, Voice of Doom. Alright. Can't even remember the intro that I was going to give for this diatribe, but it is 2026 now. PST 1:47 a.m. So let's start the year out right and hope for the best. And I do hope for the best. And when I talk to people and wish them a happy new year, I always add a little coda saying it's probably going to be horrible, which gets everybody all riled. Oh, how can you say that 2026 will be bad? And so I always try to be putting a positive face forward, and I say, well, individually will be good, but as a society and as a whole, things could probably be bad. And I don't want to get into a big philosophical discussion with everybody I see. But when I say Happy New Year, I mean, I got to add an addenda that it's not going to be happy. And that individually we may do better. I know I have the potential to be better in 2026 than I am now, because I'm lucky enough to have a regular job that pulls in some decent money for somebody that is poor. So I could struggle along and keep paying every damn bill that comes in and wait for what's going to happen. And I'm not going to pussyfoot around, and I'm not going to try to soft sell and soft soap and be a Pollyanna. 2026 might be the worst year we ever see in our lifetimes, geopolitically, because all the various powers on this planet are coming together to decide what the hell they're going to do with this situation we have with life on this planet. And I'm talking about technology, and I'm talking about wanting resources, I'm talking about wanting to quell totalitarian regimes and trying to reclaim territory that you think is yours by right. Okay. So, I have a few minutes. I'll tell you about it. Taiwan is a major Western ally that makes semiconductors and makes chips. And China, who by all rights should control Taiwan by geographical area, there's no reason why Taiwan shouldn't be part of mainland China from their standpoint. So China's going to take Taiwan, and America's going to go to war with that, and it's going to be a big mess. A bigger mess than you've ever imagined possible. And I mean, the Middle East, Iran, the people are rising up against the regime. They realize the mistake they made in 1979 when the students took over the Shah's regime and let the Ayatollah Khomeini come in. And anybody with half a brain knew that that was going to be bad news for everybody. So now the Khomeinis got their backs against the wall, and the same students are going, wait a minute, we're tired of living in the 14th century, and this is bullshit because we're getting a lot of sanctions where we can't do business, and Iran should be a very rich country if you let things go correctly. Okay, so Iran's about to fall one way or the other. It's going to be a mess. The Hamas-Israel issue is still up for grabs. They can't get Hamas to get rid of the, arms. They don't want to stop fighting. And it's like, you got to stop fighting because that's part of the deal. And they're not. So we'll see what happens there. And Turkey is going ape about some Somaliland idiocy because I don't know if they're clinging to some imperial idea that they might be bigger than they are. I don't know. I don't care. Venezuela, we're taking oil tankers from Venezuela, and what we're doing with them, I don't know. But I'm fine with it. I mean, let Orangey do what he wants. So the oil, I don't know if it's good oil or not. But he's pretty much starting to get very aggressive with Venezuela. And that's just 1, 2, 3, 4 things that are happening that could blow up into a conflagration. Not to mention that Russia, and Putin's not getting any younger, may do something so heinous that it could lead to a back and forth with the nuclear bombs, where somebody starts something and something happens. And now let's get into why everybody's life will be ruined. AI. Not only are they building data centers that are taking all kinds of energy, water and energy, to run these data centers in order to, watch over us, to make sure that they know every move we make and what we're thinking. That is raising water and electricity prices for a lot of people around this country. Luckily, I don't feel that yet. Because if one day they said, oh, you owe $350 for your electricity, it's like, turn it off already. I don't want it. And then I'd live like that. But people are paying big electricity bills and they're paying water bills, and I pay $100 a month to have water, and I really conserve. I don't use much at all. And I looked at my bill and I realized conserving doesn't save you anything. But I pay $100 to $120 a month for water in Nevada. And other people are paying way more. Now you start looking at these utility bills and going, well, just my electricity, water, and my phone and my internet cost me $1,200 a month. People don't make that kind of money. So they obviously want to force the lower working class and below people who just struggle paycheck to paycheck to go, I can't do it anymore. And then what are they going to do? They're going to rebel. So obvious. 2026 is going to be a mess. You have these idiots in these liberal wokester states that have given away billions of dollars to their constituents from Somalia, and it's gone, and everybody's going to go, oh well, it's only $9 billion. And Comer's going to have his, hearing about everything. And every time you hear about Comer having a hearing, nothing will happen. Nobody's ever arrested. Nobody's ever held accountable, ever. So he seems to have his heart in the right place, but he's not functioning as anything. Because congressional hearings mean nothing. They don't have the power to arrest people. And you need the judicial system to arrest them, and half of them are out of their minds. So it's obvious. Come on. I don't see why I have to explain it. Okay, the latest big thing is this Rick Shirley, or whatever his name is, does this video with, I want to put my kid in one of your daycares. Well, we don't. And it's like, well, do you have a daycare? And it's like, and it's, I want to put my kid in the daycare, and do you have kids here, or what's going on? He exposes what's already been exposed. It's just a ridiculous thing that, they're denying, or they're obfuscating, or they're blaming, or they're saying, we've already been looking into this, all this BS crap, that let's just hope we can ride it out and just buy time until everybody forgets it. $9 billion. For autistic kids, for homeless, for veterans, for food banks, all going to Somalia. We can't blame all the Somalians. There's one Somalian that's good. Okay, there's one Somalian that's good. God said if there's 6 people in Sodom that are good, then I'll spare it. And there weren't, so he blew it to shit. Okay. But we're not going to do anything about that, because that would be racist. That would be white supremacist. It's ridiculous. And then the main thing I saw with Shirley is, he was doing is, I just want to put my kid in this daycare because I need daycare, and how much is it, and can you help me? And then some liberal wokester idiot moron is in the background berating the journalists for shame, shame, shame. Why are these wokester idiots cheering for their own demise? They're not gonna make it. You're a 23-year-old person out there on the street, and you're, berating ICE, and you're trying to stand in their way. You're not gonna lose your job. You're gonna be accosted on the street by somebody from another country. You're gonna be assaulted. And you're rooting for these people. I'm for the criminals. I'm for the people that are taking away from autistic kids. I'm for the people that are taking away from the hungry and the veterans. Now, come on. 2026, it's all going to come together. The tribes are going to go, and they're going to coalesce, and they're going to go. And if you guys don't get it, I'm not going to give you much more, because I've already said everything. Over the 5 years I've been doing this, I've told you everything that was going to happen. And now you're having a cow when you realize you can't pay your bills. It's so obvious, man. Get rid of the graft. Get rid of the crime, and use the money wisely and help people that need help. So I'm not going to do it much longer, because it's ridiculous. If you don't see it by now, you're blind. And everybody I talk to is blind because they don't follow the news. They don't know where Taiwan is. They don't know where Ukraine is. They don't know where frickin' Lebanon is. They don't know where Venezuela is. So when it all hits the fan, well, it's just going to be obliteration. Bombs going off and people going off into zombie land. So I think I did a good one for the first of the year. And I'm not going to do many more because everybody sees what's happening. So I don't have to tell my prognostications. 26 is going to be the year that everything falls apart for reals. In your house, candles, whatever food you have, and you'll be obliterated before you reach the grocery store because the grocery store has already been looted. So look forward to that. And Happy New Year and Prospero año.